Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today I'm going to reverse dye one of the buffalo hoodies from Costco. This hoodie is one of the purple hoodies that Costco has out this year. I don't remember seeing these last year, but I bought one of them and I thought I would try it and see how well they do with the reverse dye process. I also did not turn the hoodie inside out. These hoodies have got polyester on the inside, and if I turn the hoodie inside out, that puts the polyester on the outside. So whenever I do a reverse dye process, it's a little bit difficult to tell how well the Out White Brite is working because the polyester portion is on the outside and it doesn't reverse dye or lighten. Since this is a color I've never worked with, I wanted to kind of be able to see what was happening with the fabric, so that's why I didn't turn the hoodie inside out. If you're wondering, this hoodie is 70% viscose, 16% cotton, 11% polyester, and 3% elastane. They're women's hoodies, which, like I said, I purchased at Costco. The viscose and the cotton are both going to dye, but the polyester and the elastane won't. So it should dye up really nicely because there's only 11% polyester and 3% elastane. Since I haven't ever done this color before, I don't want to do a super intricate design because truthfully, I'm not sure how well it's going to reverse dye. So I'm going to do a random sinew line design on this hoodie. I'm just going to take and gather up some material, wrap myself a sinew line around that area, and do that throughout the hoodie. This is going to give a little bit of definition and design to the hoodie without it being overly busy. I personally really like the random sinew design. It's not quite as busy as a geode, but it does give some cool definition and kind of a geode vibe. I'm tying both layers of my fabric at the same time, but if you'd prefer, you can just tie one layer at a time. There's truly no right or wrong way to do this design. I'm using sinew because of the wax coating on the sinew. Whenever I wrap one of the sinew lines around the hoodie and tighten it down where it pretty much locks down on itself, that is going to form a waterproof barrier, which I'm going to need for the Out White Brite process. Out White Brite works so well as a color remover if I just tie lines with, say, rubber bands or kite string. The minute I submerge this hoodie into the Out White Brite, it will remove more color than I'm wanting it to. So the sinew helps protect the areas where I want this purple color to remain. After I've tied all my sinew lines on the hoodie, I'm going to go ahead and place the hoodie aside for about 24 hours and let it dry out just a little bit. It is still damp, and I think I'll probably get better saturation from the Out White Brite if I let it dry just a little bit. So for the color removal process, I'm going to use a product called Out White Brite Laundry Whitener, and I purchased mine from Walmart on the laundry aisle. It's normally by the bleach, but it's not a bleach product, so it's not going to have to be neutralized, and it won't damage your fabric the way bleach will. If you can't find any at your local Walmart, I have a link down below in the description for this video to where you can purchase some from Amazon. I'm going to reverse dye a whole bunch of different things at the same time. I think I have like 6 in this container. I'm going to start by sprinkling the Out White Brite powder over the top of the items. And I'm doing this process outside because the Out White Brite is pretty stinky. I'm also wearing my respirator throughout this entire process because I don't want to smell any of the fumes or any of the powdered Out White Brite. It's always windy where I live, and as you can see, the Out White Brite is kind of blowing around outside of this plastic container. Once I have the Out White Brite on top of the items, I'm going to pour a pot of boiling hot water over the top. It's really important that your water is boiling hot. If you use just warm water, it may eventually remove the color, but it will remove it very quickly if your water is boiling hot. After I get this first pan of boiling hot water poured over the top, I'm going to go ahead and add a second pot of boiling hot water. I have a lot of items in this plastic tub or tote, and I want to try to make sure that they're fully submerged in the Out White Brite solution. You can see though that the Out White Brite has already started to work on the items inside this tote. They're already starting to have the color removed from them and lightening up. all of them except for the purple hoodie that I'm doing. That doesn't seem to be a whole lot lighter. So I'm a little bit concerned that the Out White Brite is not going to work on this hoodie. And that kind of doesn't surprise me. And I tell you why. Purple has a lot of blue in it. And in general, I've found that Out White Brite doesn't work very well with blue items. So if I was trying to do some denim or just a solid blue shirt, a lot of times the Out White Brite might kind of lighten that item some, but it won't remove the color like it does on other colored items. If you notice, most of the other items in this tub or tote have gone to kind of a taupey type color. But blue items normally won't do that. You might get them to a lighter shade of blue, but most of the time, unless it's navy blue, blue just lightens a little bit, but it never goes to taupe. However, navy blue is different and it will go to a taupey color. But I've tried, lighter blue shirts, teal, turquoisey type colors, royal blue, and most of those just lighten a little bit. They don't ever go to the taupe color. So keep that in mind when you're choosing items to do reverse dyes on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to add another pot of boiling hot water over the top, along with a little bit more Out White Brite. And I'm using a pair of metal tongs, which I purchased from the Dollar Tree dollar store, to move the items around to make sure they get well saturated with the Out White Brite solution. Since I have so many items in this plastic tub or tote that I'm reverse dyeing at the same time, I'm going to leave them about 15 minutes just to make sure they get plenty of the solution into the middle of each one of these items. At the end of 15 minutes, I'm going to take the items to my utility sink and I'm going to rinse them in cold water. I want to get out a little bit of the Out White Brite solution before I stick them in my washing machine. I'm not going to untie them. I'm going to leave them tied throughout this whole entire process. So I'm going to put the items into my washing machine along with a little bit of Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent. And it doesn't really matter at this point whether you wash them in a hot, a warm, or a cold cycle. I just wash them to get out any of the Out White Brite residue and to get rid of some of the smell. I don't really have a lot of problems with my items that I've reverse dyed continuing to smell like the Out White Brite solution. I know a few other tie-dyers have complained about that, but I really think that washing my items in between the Out White Brite process and actually dyeing the items really helps to get out a lot of that smell. Then I'm going to leave my items tied and place them down in a soda ash solution and allow them to soak. I normally do not put my items that have been reverse dyed into my main soda ash solution. Even though I've gone ahead and washed them, there's going to be some sort of color come out into my soda ash solution. So I don't want to contaminate my main soda ash solution. So what I normally do is I have a separate bucket that I use for reverse dyeing. And I'll place my items in that bucket and allow them to soak in that bucket. Then I'm going to wring the items out like normal, and I'll place this hoodie aside for a couple of days and let it dry out. This fold isn't really very thick, so I could get by with going ahead and dyeing it while it's still damp, but I was doing several other things the day that I wrung these out from the soda ash solution, so I placed it aside with the rest of the shirts, and it was dry by the time I came back to it. So after the reverse dye process, the hoodie didn't go to a taupe color, but it did kind of go to a lighter grayish purple color. So I thought I would choose some blue dyes to go over the top. I'm also going to apply the dye over the top of the ice, which is referred to as DOI, dye over ice. So to do that process, I'm using a container which I purchased from the Dollar Tree dollar store that has a solid bottom, but it has holes in the sides. So that's going to allow most of the muck to drain away from the shirt. Muck is the term used to describe the melting ice that's mixed with the dye. So I've placed this container down inside of a larger tub or tote, and I've placed the hoodie down inside of the container and ice on top. I also have a small metal basket sitting over to the side, which I'm going to place under this container down inside of the tote to keep this container up off the bottom of the tote. I'm going to apply the dye in diagonal stripes across the ice. And so that I could space my colors out a little bit better, I applied the middle color first. So let me give you the colors that I'm using in the order that they are over the top of the ice. I'm using Sky Blue from Dharma, Ice Dye Blue from Dye Spin, Sapphire Blue and Deep Space from Dharma, Lapis from Pro Chemical and Dye, Even Song from Dye Spin, and Moody Blue from Dye Spin. Moody Blue is one of the Dark Horse dyes, so when you go out to their website, they have a special tab or area for the Dark Horse dyes. You won't find those underneath the area where you find the regular dyes. They're fiber reactive dyes, so they're the same kind of dyes as just the regular dyes, but they're specially formulated for ice dyeing, so they've just placed them in a different area on their website. Then over the top of all the dye, I'm going to place a little bit of additional dry soda ash and place this container aside and allow the ice to melt. Once the ice melted, I just left the hoodie alone and let it process for about 48 hours before I rinsed it out. To rinse the hoodie, I took it to my utility sink and I rinsed it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. Then I untied the hoodie and warmed the water up to hot and rinsed it in hot water to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. Blues tend to be one of the hardest colors for me to get fully rinsed out of a shirt or a hoodie or any item. So instead of just continuing to rinse for a long time, I ran some really hot water in my utility sink, added a little bit of Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water, and just allowed the hoodie to soak. When the water cooled off, I changed it out, and I continued that hot water soaking process until my water was remaining almost clear. For those of you who are new to tie-dyeing, that may take quite a few rinses and quite a few soaks. So don't get discouraged. It will eventually get almost clear. Then I went ahead and put the hoodie along with some Dharma's professional textile detergent into my washing machine, and I washed it using a hot water cycle. Okay, so I've washed, dried, and ironed the hoodie, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one looks really cool. Like I said, the hoodie did not go to a super light color, but the colors of blue that I chose were a little bit darker so that they would cover that kind of grayish purple color the hoodie became. The purple that you see in the middle part of the hoodie is probably from either the sapphire blue or the moody blue that I used. That's not the original color from the hoodie. It also could be from the deep space. Most of the colors of blue that I chose kind of have a little bit of pink or purple in them anyway. I do think that the definition lines from the original color of the hoodie, though, look cool along with the blue colors. And I like this design on this hoodie. Like I said, it's not too busy, but it does kind of give a little bit of a geode vibe. One thing that I really like about these buffalo hoodies is the fact that the drawstrings will dye. Those are obviously made out of cotton, and so they take the dye really pretty. And I just think that gives a little extra pop. You know, some of the hoodies that you can find have such a high polyester content, and the drawstrings a lot of times remain white. But I like the dyed drawstrings with the buffalo hoodies. They're also super soft. You know, if you haven't ever tried any of these, they're just a really nice hoodie. They're a nice weight, and the super softness of them, I personally think they're a great hoodie to tie-dye with. This year in my area, Costco's offering a green one, a cream-colored one, this purple one, and a black one. They're also available online right now as well. But they are seasonal, so they won't be available year-round. So overall, I love this hoodie. I think it turned out really cool. Honestly, I don't know that the Out White Brite lightened it a whole lot. So truthfully, if you use dark enough colors, you can probably just skip the Out White Brite process and go straight over the top of the purple hoodie. I left mine long enough that if it was going to remove any more color, it would have done it. So I've had people ask before if you can go back and do another Out White Brite process and remove more color. You might be able to get a little bit more color, but I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it. But like I said, I love it anyway. I think it turned out really pretty. But what do you guys think? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it, and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.